Okay, broken phone. You know what I'm working with here. I was talking to my wife earlier, mentioned the sale of EA games, and she looked at me and said, "I don't care." Again, 20 years of marriage. So here I am talking to you guys. I am blue collar NPC. My name really doesn't matter. You call me Adam. I don't care. Call me whatever you want. You won't remember. But everybody's kind of getting bent up over EA being bought by the Saudis. Who cares? Really, who cares? When was the last time EA put out a good game? Don't take the sports ones into consideration. Let's just talk about actual games. Well, okay, no, let's take sports into consideration first. All of your sports games that they sell are the same game from 6 years ago, with the roster changed and maybe some little tweaks to the system. Oh, and an increase in prize packs you can buy and other crap you can buy, so you can keep buying from them while playing the game that's only good for a year that you paid $80 for now every year to get the same game, and then pay them to get prize packs to get players or experience. I fell out of that type of gaming a long time ago because it didn't change. It didn't get better. You know, at one time, EA Madden actually predicted the correctly predicted the winning team for the Super Bowl like 20 years, 21 years in a row or something. It was a crazy amount because they put so much heart into their game, into the game they made, that it represented what actually happened really closely. Nah, it's advertising mostly. The fix was probably in, but who cares? That was 20 years ago or more now. Probably more. I'm old. Um, so you got your sports games that are fleecing the customers. The customer doesn't seem to care, so sports games aren't going to change. Those are going to be exactly the same. I would hope maybe they would put some effort into making them better. But the track record of EA is we don't make better, we just price it higher and fail at it too. Because they've got other names, they got other IPs, they got The Sims, SimCity, Dragon Age, Dead Space, Battlefield. Um, well, I actually have the list I could look at. Oh yeah, Need for Speed, Skate, the Ultima series, and Plants vs Zombies. You got Mass Effect. You got some really great games on here. Grid was fine. Some of those were fine. Not great. Predatory on the last one. Of course, yeah, sports games all predatory. Command and Conquer was awesome. Dead Space. Um, Dragon Age. I don't care about the political stuff. The game sucked. That's it. I'm not critiquing any other way other than it was boring. It sucked. It was not Dragon Age. I didn't finish it. I will never finish it. As far as I'm concerned, Dragon Age ended with Inquisition. So it's a three-part series. With We'll call it a three-part series. And that's it. Valgard sucked. And the sales numbers say so. Player numbers say so. People care about the sales numbers. Oh, well, it made this much for the company. I don't care about how much the company's making. That's their concern. They need to spend enough to make a good game that people will buy so they can make a profit. It's very simple and very hard to do. Obviously, because when was the last good EA game? And if you can't list 3 or 4 of them a year, that's bad. That means those are going away. None of these have made money except for the sports games, which, yeah, they're going to spend the money because they're fans. And if they're okay with doing it, fine. But the rest of us, why are we getting upset about Saudi buying EA when EA hasn't done anything with EA in, again, 10 years? This 10-year rounding, call it a rounding error, we'll just call it 10 years. This 10-year gap where all of the game makers and console manufacturers just decided, screw it. We're going to spend as much money as we can to make our passion projects, and then we're not going to worry about if they're good. Because everybody's just going to buy it for reasons. We were buying the games before because they were really good, and the systems were getting better, and the graphics were getting nicer, and the gameplay was getting more complex, and the stories were getting better. Unless you're playing a Bethesda game, then you just get the simpleton stories. But that's a different topic. What do we do? I mean, they're not making games that are good. They're trying to make digital cash machines that they can put on all the consoles and all the phones and all the computers so they can just go home and not come back into work and just collect money. That's what they're trying to do. And EA really failed at it. I mean, they're being sold. They're not good at what they do. They're making tons of money off of their sports games, but yet they can't actually keep themselves together. There's a problem there, and it's not our fault. It's their fault. Their spending habits, the way they manage their stuff, it's their failure. You know, back in the day, if a company was dishonest, kind of shady, um, overcharged their customers, refused refunds, and of course got angry and blamed the customer for things not going the way they ought to have gone. We used to stay away from those people. You would see them in business and you would go, that dude's shady, stay away. But now that's become standard practice in business. That's how you do business. And if you're not shady, if you're not being weird to people and deceitful, if you're not blaming the customer and claiming you're perfect, you're going against the flow and you're disturbing everybody else's business. That's wrong. And I don't understand why we are agreeing with it. EA has some of the best things that I've ever played. Dragon Age, great series. Until I still have to play Dead Space. Sorry, there's a lot of games. I haven't played Dead Space yet. And I actually might start playing that when I'm done here. But The Sims. I don't like The Sims. Different story. Sim City, great. Guess what? They killed it. Dead Space, they've done nothing with it. Battlefield, they came back with that and screwed it up. I don't know how, but if you know Battlefield, you know what they did. Um, so what are we mourning here? What did we lose? Are you worried that people are going to lose their jobs? Guess what? They were going to lose those jobs anyway because they didn't make enough money for the company. And that doesn't matter if you're making a game to go on PlayStation or Xbox or Nintendo, or if you're making a alternator to go in a car, or you're making a bottle cap, or you're making food. When the money stops coming in, they stop asking you to come in. And that's just life. I've been let go from enough jobs. I've gone into work and been stopped at the gate because they are packing up and shutting down. That was my notice. Hey, you can borrow a truck for a while to get your toolbox out of here, but we're shutting down today. So, okay, I didn't live in that city at the time. I lived 3 hours away, so suddenly having to move my tools and everything, it was a shock. It happens. Just because you're in gaming doesn't mean you're different. I mean, you are a little different, but as far as work goes, you're no different. And these are companies, not your friends. It's a company, not a friend. They don't care. They want your money and then they want you to go away unless you have more money than you can stay. But other than that, they don't care. You can mourn the loss of the games that you think we're not going to get because the Saudis bought EA, but I'm telling you right now, the game you wanted to get was never going to get made anyway. So you're mourning a fantasy. Just look at their track record. And yeah, okay, I gotta say, The Sims suck. All right, I don't understand you guys in The Sims. I understand, you know, walling them off into a pool and doing weird stuff with the characters for a little while. But after an hour of doing that, why play it more? I already had to go to work and make money and try to support a family and buy stuff and keep things together. Why do I want to go home and do that again in a digital world? So I have to work to make the money to buy the game so I could do the work in the game, which now you guys have put online, and I'm sure you're fleecing the customer for every piece of clothing and furniture and cars and anything you can, because that's what the story is nowadays. It's live service and constant fleecing of the customer. Creativity is done, and so is EA, but they've been done for a long time. If it wasn't for the sports games, they would have been out of business a long time ago. And I would like to say that they would change, but they're not going to. The purchase from the Saudis, I hate to tell you, it's going to be irrelevant and it's going to affect nothing, except people are going to lose their jobs. But they were going to do that anyway. It sucks. But hey, I'm jobless. I'm unemployed. I've got no hope. But that dude crying about not being able to play, be on and keep his gaming job, leaves with a severance package and gets to go home and cry about it in his own house. Probably drove his own car. Yeah, it could be worse, dude. Or chick, whoever you are. You got laid off. It sucks. It happens. You roll with it and you move on. You don't start complaining. There's no job to keep. It's gone. And with EA, there's going to be more jobs gone. The problem is, guys, this isn't new. EA's been bought and sold enough times that it's not who you think they are. They're not that anymore. They're not who I think they are. That guy quit a long time ago and retired and doesn't care at all about games anymore. Every once in a while, they come back to EA and they have some good stuff. But guess what? The last 10 years, I haven't seen a lot of EA games in my collection. So tell me, why should we care? Why should we care that EA was bought by the Saudis? Because what you think this changes, it doesn't. That was going to happen anyway. And it was a leverage buyout. What that means is they're going to strip it for parts. If you want to know what that means, talk to some business dude. I'm not a business dude, but I know what that means because I've been through it enough. a leverage buyout, there's going to be a fire sale. There's a lot of fire sales coming up and are happening right now with all of the companies. They're just not calling it that. But actually, look at what they're doing. Things aren't good. Till next time, I'm still here.